momentarily. Okay, excellent. All right, well, I got a couple people. So, not too terrible. Give everybody just a minute or two to get in because we only got a couple people. We're getting up there. We're getting up there. We got some more people. I'm still going to give you guys a couple minutes because I still don't have a quorum of people. Only got a couple people. Text your friends. Be like, hey, show up to class. Good morning. Tehran's setting up. Good to know. Okay, we're getting there. All right, we got some more people in there. Let me finish this train of thought real fast and we will go ahead and get started. It is Wednesday. While I'm preparing and writing things, what I would like you guys also to do is we're going to do another stand-up and everybody's going to talk about what they've been up to for the group project. So think about what you want to say. Again, short sentence or two. You can talk or type it. Whatever you want to do. Okay. You know, what have you done so far? That's what I really, really want to know is like what I need, but for your team, you should also be like, what am I working on? What do I need help with? So those three things, succinct little bits. So only got a couple people, but that's okay. Let me do this. Excellent, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in order of what I can see on my Zoom meeting for our stand-up. And as people join, they'll probably figure out what we're doing. I did want to talk about just a couple like housekeeping things. Some of it's group projecty, some of it's general being a remote class, some of it's just general like, hey, as we end the class, don't lose motivation. So none of these are about a particular issue. Like if you're like, oh, that's me, she's talking about me, it's probably you. And none of these issues are like singular people. I've seen a couple people do it. So no stress, no worries, just, let's not continue bad habits. So like first and foremost, if something's wrong, let me know. And that's, hey, I don't have internet. Hey, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like let me know what's up. Because like if you don't tell me, I'm gonna assume you're good. And then like if you're not good, I'm gonna assume you're good. So let me know what's up. I really rather you guys over communicate than under communicate with me. Also, again, I'm really bad about actually answering my phone. Shoot me a text message, and then I'll like be like, oh, because the texts go to my laptop too, so I will see it. Just that way, like if you guys need me, I will actually answer. I'm just bad at answering my phone. What else am I percolating on? There's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Remember that like I still expect you guys to have like, be here, be engaged, talk to me during lab time, or one of the TAs doesn't like, just I want to know that you guys are reaching out to people. You can reach out to Nicole or Damien or Stan. Oh, Carlos wants more motivational quotes. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I got you. That's a good request. On the TA note, like use them as a resource, like they're there for you. Nick tries really, really hard to like absolutely be the best that he can be for you guys. The other two are good too. Just Nick is really like shown and he's like really been above and beyond, and I'm really proud. The other two are really good too, but Nick's been trying really hard and I appreciate it. More motivational doggos. I'll see what I can do. Jimmy says good morning. That's a couple minutes on the other one. So Jamila asked what would happen if we gave up on the group project. Just asking. Let me finish this thought about the TAs real fast and then I will answer that question. The other thing is if Parkour normally tells me things, but if you are having like a big issue or like, you like need something, please tell me also. Like he normally does a really good job communicating to me. Like if you guys are having problems, he'll tell me what's up. Unless like you guys don't ask him to, like he's, I'll respect whatever you guys want. But like if you're having like big issues with the class and like you just tell like one of the TAs, I can't fix it. So let me know if you're having issues so I can fix it. Yeah, so Joel says, I'm lost at this stage and want to do it myself, but I can't figure it out what's what because I didn't touch it and I'm not in people's brains. Yeah, communicating and being able to, yeah, but everybody's brain is. Everybody's brain works differently than everybody's. Like the last Pie Night that we did like in person, someone else was watching me code and they were like, what are you doing? Oh my God. And now, like, we went to the same school and got taught how to code by the same people. But because the way that my brain works is so different from the way his brain worked, he was like, because, you know, I'm just like, oh, let's see if this works. Oh, let's see if this works. I work really fast and incrementally. And he likes to work really slow and get the whole thing done before he tests it. And, you know, neither of those are right or wrong, but trying to communicate between those two coding styles can be a nightmare. So, yeah. And I mean, like, that was just a small, like, solve this one little tiny problem, let alone like a big, like, project. That's why we use like coding standards and stuff. So that is like a hard part of like doing projects with other people, especially if other people like work totally differently than you, which they probably do. Like, yeah. So to answer your question, if you totally give up on the group project, what's going to happen? So you're not going to fail the whole class. You're not going to like, you know, like it will have a significant impact on your grade, but it won't like be like, you know, failing a final on a college course. Like it'll have a, like, I think it washes out to be, instead of like a week's, I think it works out to be a little bit more than 2 weeks worth of, I think it works out to be like 25 points out of it. So like if you got 0 points out of your 25 points, like, you know, that's not great. I don't think it'd make anybody fail. If you did like absolutely nothing, I don't think it'd make anybody fail. But again, remember, like a lot of the grade is communication and documentation and stuff like that. So like, yeah, so Nick says it'll hurt your grade but not kill it. Exactly, yeah, like, and that's if you get like no points. And I'm pretty sure everybody's turned in at least something. So you're not gonna get 0 points. You're just gonna maybe get like 10. But yeah, like it won't, like, I want to do it, but I need to take it from the top and I'm having a hard time double touch jumping. I keep getting caught in the rope instead. I feel that, yeah. And it, like, that is a really hard part of group projects, is like, if you feel like you're the one who's supposed to be doing something, but someone else feels that way too. And it can lead to like a lot of like confusion and tension and like, for sure. I totally feel that. Yeah. Well, I don't super have like a lot of specific things to help with that. When we do the stand-up, if you can like talk about it a little bit more specifically, and we'll see if we can get it resolved. Let me see if that'll help. If everybody's just talking about it, we'll just like lay it all out. We'll see if that is helpful. Yeah, remember the documentation is really important. So like if Sarah said, what are the 3 things you wanted us to talk about too? What you have already done, what you are currently working on, and this last one is might be an if, you might not need it, if you need help from someone else. Those are the 3 things I want. But yeah, so remember, we've got to do documentation stuff. So having a nice, well-written README with that link that I gave you guys. you know, basically just follow that framework, except for like you don't need to do the licenses part. I think was the only part you didn't need to do. So look at that, right? If you feel like you haven't really gotten to contribute, writing the documentation is an important part of your grade. So making sure the documentation gets written will be a really great way to be like, hey, I did this big part of the grade. So, and like, it's not fun and most people don't like, but it's a really important skill. All right. Alrighty. So, oh, the other, I think that's all the things that I wanted to like give you guys reminders about. Over communicate, tell me things. Let me know what you need. Like Slack me, text me, like whatever. I think that's all the like reminders and touch base with things I wanted to talk to you guys about. Some schedule keeping and all that. We'll have one guest speaker today at 11. I'm going to finish typing this sentence and then I will read that, Jimmy, so that way we can all talk about it and share about it. So give me just 1 second to read that. Okay. So Jimmy says, I believe the whole part of the project is to learn to work together. We may not be successful, but it's more working through our differences to accomplish our objective. I feel like the weak link, but it's learning to work together. Once we master working with others, there's so much more we can do. You can do it. Even if we feel it's a small part, every little part is some part. I agree. I agree 100%. Like, I really want you guys to turn in something that works and is like well designed and like well documented, but like the bigger skills I want you guys to get here is like, I know how to do a pull request. I know how to like write code to match somebody else's code. So yeah, motivational speaker. I agree. Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And like, if your project doesn't work, like, you still get a lot of points for turning stuff in and documentation and like showing me what kind of teamworky things you guys have been doing, and all that. So like, obviously, like, you're not going to get 100 if it doesn't work, but you can still like get a perfectly fine grade because you guys can show me all the other stuff. So like, I don't, the stressful part I want is like, experiencing merge conflicts. Like, that's an okay level of stress I want you guys to experience, because you'll deal with that in real life. Like, you'll go to look at somebody else's code and it'll be like, oh, I have to manually read 3,000 lines of code line by line because I don't know what changed. And that happens and that sucks, but it happens and you can learn a lot from it. But yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think you guys know how I feel. I enjoy failure a lot. I think it's a really good experience to have. And so like, take all the learning experiences from it and be like, oh, well, this didn't work because, one person was really confused and that set the whole thing off. And, I didn't understand how to do this part. And so I couldn't help. And, it's all good. Learning is the whole point. But yeah. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and do our code review. So the first 3 people I have are Taiwanda, Diane, and Tyler. Okay, so Taiwanda says, as a front end, I'm currently working on connecting the admin page, designing it in Figma. Our group is collab as well together. We have Zoom meetings that are very helpful. Thanks, group, for working as a team. The weeks are flying by so fast, even though we're home. I 100% agree. I am having such a hard time keeping track of time. Other than that, I'm looking forward to spring break. No real plans but to refresh on weak areas. My real break comes at the end. I agree. Yep, like I'll still be working and like you guys can Slack me questions and all that. We're obviously not going to do code review. I don't expect anything from you guys for spring break, but I will be working. So Slack me if you guys need me or text me, you know. So yeah. I have really liked that you and Shawnee's have been working together on Figma Live. That has been pretty cool to watch. So yeah, cool. So working on all the design stuff for that. Excellent. Cool. All right. So Diane, what are you up to? Unless I wonder you have any help that you need from people. Okay, so Diane says I managed to get a file to run that may or may not work. Will likely need help with the final part to get a connection with the database. Push the files to GitHub warning. I'm having so much trouble with GitHub that it's no longer funny. Yeah, when it starts acting up, can you take screenshots and send it to me so I can see what it's doing? Because like I don't know if it's a like error we can fix or like if your internet's just being ornery or what. So if you can send me screenshots and if you just like take pictures with your phone and send it, that's fine too. Just that way I can see what it's doing. See if we can work through it. I have work to do at work tomorrow, so for the final group project meeting, thanks for letting people know. I might be able to listen, not sure. It's taken a lot of time to get that simple file together, so feel like you haven't contributed anything. Well, you got something to run, so that's good. So again, small pieces are good. Communicating and showing up, super important. Heroku is very difficult to get comfortable with. I plan to get some of the missing stuff done on spring break. So Heroku to me feels like one of those like applications that feels like you should already know how to use it. Because like I was trying to help somebody yesterday and all I wanted to do is there should be an easy way to see if it's running or not. It took us like 5 minutes to figure out if the app was running. So like I agree that Heroku can be really difficult and tragically it's one of the easier ones to use. So in general, a lot of the cloud services are pretty hard to get into. Heroku is one of the easier ones to get into, and that's why I picked it. With like DigitalOcean, Heroku, if you're using like Netlify or any of those, they're all kind of, they're not hard to use because like they're well documented and like, you know, I think they're laid out well, but like, I think there's a certain level of like intuition that's missing maybe. But yeah, I agree with that, but hopefully it'll get there. And then you can be like, okay, I know how to use Heroku, so I can learn how to use DigitalOcean or AWS or whatever. Most of the cloud services are just kind of difficult to get into, but Heroku's a good like baby stepping stone. And then you can go into like Amazon and be like, this sucks even worse. But yeah, I feel that is an okay place to be. But yeah. Yeah, send me screenshots of the GitHub stuff so we can see what's up and see if we can get that resolved. Because I don't know. I also, this is like totally off the top of my head, it may not be the issue at all, but I'm wondering is if your internet's configured to not like allow that kind of traffic. Because sometimes home networks don't like to do things like that, like GitHub and like FTPing into other things. So I'm wondering if that's why it's being difficult, but that is totally off the top of my head and may not be what the issue is. So send me some screenshots and we'll take a look and see if we can figure it out. So besides looking at GitHub stuff, Is there anything else that you need help with? Okay. All right, so my next person is Tyler. What are you up to? And then before I read that, my next three people are Shawnee's, Lexi, and Carlos. Okay, so Tyler says, so far I've managed Discord chats, Zoom meetings, led stand-ups, and helped break up the project into smaller tasks for the team to accomplish. Also set up the Git repo, the Heroku account, and I'm in charge of managing branches and commits. Okay, cool. Currently, I'm working on helping with our JS function that will add our data to our database on button click. Last night, I was able to create a stable connection to our MySQL database and add info on the connection. Yay! That's genuinely like the hardest piece of this project. So it's all going to be posting, besides maybe like a couple merge conflicts later. So like, that's the hard part. If you've gotten the data to go from the website to the database, bam, you've done the hard part. So yeah, everything else will be like copying it and merge conflict management and all that. So that's the hard part. If you've gotten through that, it'll all be okay. One more note on the group project thing. I'm going to grade them Friday afternoon. So like, this happened last time and this is why I'm saying it. I don't think you guys will have this issue because you guys are doing a bit better job like controlling who's committing code than the last batch. Don't like turn in something at like 3:40 that actually doesn't work when you meant to turn in something before that does work, because I will grade whatever you turn in at 4 p.m. So just, you know, be cognizant of that and have it in your brain. Just because my last group did that, so I wanted to let you guys have that in your brain. Cool. All right. So that is exciting. Tyler, do you need help from anybody? Or are you good to go for the most part? Okay. All right. Shawnee's, what are you up to? All right. So Shani says, help design website, finally got a JS containing regexes for user input to run. It was a major milestone getting the JS functions to structured properly. Have been researching ways to connect the admin page Taiwanda is working on. And next step, regex code is ready to be tested. Cool. So again, with like the admin page, like if it's not the end of the world if there's not a button to go to the admin page. If you're like Morgan, you need to type in /admin to get to the admin page, that's fine. Like you don't need to like have any fancy setup or navigation or anything. You can just be like, the homepage is at, you know, fluffycloud@heroku.com, and then the admin page is at, you know, fluffycloud@heroku.com/admin. That's fine. Just let me know. Like if there's not a button that says admin, like let me know what I'm supposed to type to get to the admin page. And that's totally fine. Yeah, because again, like the admin page, like I don't really want anything fancy. I just want to be able to see that the data connection was successful without digging into your database is most what I want. Cool. Yeah, and again, it's been really cool to watch you and Taiwan to work remotely on the Figma thing. That's been pretty cool. I hope you've had fun with the regexes. I think they're super fun. If you ever want to get in depth into some weird math, looking at how the regexes actually work, it's very weird math, but it's fun math. Cool. All right. Do you need help from anybody? Okay, so Tyler already knows what you need. Excellent. All right. Excellent. All right. Lexi, what are you up to? Okay, so Lexi says, I've worked with all three of our things, wrote validation, took the name validation code, combined it together. Code is ready to be reviewed by QA teammates, have encountered just about every GitHub error there is, and consequently learned a lot. So maybe it's less scary now. Next, I'm going to start writing documentation. Cool. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah. Yep. I'm sure you're like, merge conflicts. I know her. I know her a lot, intimately. Yeah. Do you need help with anything, or your BFF is merge conflicts? I'll have to see if I can find I'm a big fan of stickers. Oh, oops. I'm looking for this particular one, and it's just like a sad little pigeon, and it's like merge conflicts, and it's like a very cute sticker, but I'll have to see if I can find it later. But yeah, cool. Do you need help with anything? With all of that, like, this is just a like top of the head question. This is not like a hard and fast thing. Since you've done like a pretty good amount of it, does handing off the documentation to someone else sound like a good idea? You can be like, no, but just stay to make sure that like you're not overworked. Just handing it off to someone else makes sense. And again, not like a hard and fast thing. I don't know how much you've done. I don't know how you feeling, but you know, does handing off that sound like a good idea, especially if like other people on your team feel like they haven't gotten to contribute. That documentation piece can be a really good thing for them to work on. So, you know, not a hard and fast rule. It's your project, but you know, just so that way you don't feel overly stressed. Do you need help from anybody with anything, or are you good? Okay, so it looks like you got a laundry list of people to talk to get things resolved. Okay. Do you want to talk about it now, or you just want to deal with it during like your guys' like meeting in the afternoon? Okay. All right. So Lexi needs everybody to attend the group meeting this afternoon. Question related to that. Do you guys want to do code review this week, or do you want me to just wait till after spring break where we can talk about the project as a whole? Okay, I got one vote for wait. Okay. And again, like Slack me if you need anything. And yeah, I got lots of afters. Okay, cool. All right, we won't do code review this afternoon. I will finish catching up on grades because I don't have all of week 9's grades done yet. So I will finish grading week 9. Chuck didn't get yours last week. Okay, so let's do. You're on my list. Did I drop the ball, Chuck? I'm sorry. Are you on my list or are you one of Nick's? You're on my list, right? Do I normally do your code review or does Nick do your code review? Okay, might be. Do you want to meet later after the group meeting, like at like 3-ish? Or do you just like want me to just slack you your grade? Thank you. I feel okay about it. Okay, I'll just slack you your grade then, and for your week 8 stuff, I will spend some time looking at it and give you some better feedback, just so you have it. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I'll slack you that still, just so you have that piece of information. Might be things have been chaotic. Thanks for being patient with me. Cool. All right. So then we won't do code review this afternoon then. And then I think after I get your stuff checked that everybody's caught up, Slack me if you want something different. Yeah, you know. All right, but I can give you guys that time. That's totally fine with me because I think I'm scheduled for like 4 meetings this afternoon anyway, so I don't know how many people I'd get to. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So next is Carlos. Carlos, what are you up to?
I don't really feel like typing, so I was going to tell you.
I figured you would talk.
Well, first, I want to say I have found myself teetering on the borderline between almost losing motivation just because for the fact that we at home. Like, it's cool. I appreciate that we at home, but at the same time, I feel like I'm more responsible if I'm in the classroom setting.
Mhm.
That's just me personally. Because I know myself, and I know I can get distracted very easily. If that makes sense.
I am 100% feeling it.
But I just made like a bunch of changes to the HTML last night, this morning, overnight per se. I got some of it to work, but it don't look how I want it to look yet. So I'm still kind of working on it. What was the third part of the question?
Do you need help from anyone?
Nah, not yet. I'm just following like a tutorial at the moment, so I should be good. But if I do, I'll talk to you though.
Sounds good to me. But yeah, I totally feel like it's hard to actually work thing. Because then I end up working at like weird times. And so like I'll turn my like computer on at like 10 o'clock at night and work for an hour.
Yeah, see, I do all my work between 12 and 6 o'clock before I come to class and stuff.
Yep.
It's all good, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so Chuckcaster membership will allow Clubhouse access next week, right? Yes. You guys have regular like membership badges. So like as long as the building doesn't get shut down, you guys will still have access to the building. Diane says Carlos and I should be on the same team. Yeah, because you guys are night owls. Yep. Well, Diane, you're like I don't know, like a pre-dawn owl, like, I don't know, early bird. I know.
I could do both, like night owl and early bird.
I am not an early bird. I used to, like, it always boggles my mind that I struggle to wake up at like 7 because like I used to have to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. How can I not wake up at 7? But things change. Cool. All right. I think that's it. As Lexi requested, show up to your guys' afternoon meeting. Other than that, all right, my next 3 people are Chuck, Sarah, and Tehran. Unless you have anything else, Carlos. Oh, wait. Yeah. All right, so Chuck says, I've been able to establish connection to our database address until the table is ready. I've been practicing locally and can display bookstore data from week 6 in the CLI in the browser. Yet to be formatted in the browser, but it's there. That's okay. Getting it there is really nice. We'll only work on that if time to do. Yep. Utimus, yes. Can create databases, tables, post, fetch, and get. Wonderful, 10 out of 10. I believe I need to write in a pen from the CLI, but need to get with my team for the next steps as far as what the expected output when team database is available. All right, sounds good. That sounds like a pretty good place to be at. Yeah, that's exciting. So take this next piece with like 7,000 grains of salt. This is not super like recommended. This is just me showing you that there's a tool that you can use. I'm gonna share it with you guys real fast. If you get like 100% done with everything and want to experiment with making it prettier, so again, keywords, 100% done and want to experiment with making it prettier, there's this things called data tables, and it does all of this for you. It's not super hard to set up. It does use jQuery, which is an older tool, but it gives you all this really nice pagination, and then it gives you like sorting, and like it looks really nice. So you guys, I'll put this in Slack for you guys. This is like maybe that. Yeah, so like get all the data to show up on the admin page. Once you're 100% done with all of the requirements on that project guide that I gave you, then you can play with this if you want. Again, it's not crazy hard to use. But yeah, so you guys have this, get everything done and working, then you can implement this table later if you want. This is not a requirement. Yeah. steelkiwi.com. Is this just another thing that you can like use for like getting that kind of stuff? Ooh, pretty. This website's nice. Yeah. Looks about the same. Yeah, I will say this data tables is like a pretty like about halfway down the page. What section is it under? What's like the title part for it? REST admin dashboard. Oh, so I gotta go click into the node thing. Okay. No? Confusion. I don't know. I can't find that. If that works for you, after you get everything, you can totally do that. The data tables one is something that I've used in production multiple times. So like, it's a pretty standard free library to use. But yeah, if you found something else and you want to use that, totally go for it. This is just one that I've used that I really enjoy. All right. Ooh, all right, who's my next person? All right, Sarah, what is up? Okay, so Sarah says, I've set up Heroku, JawsDB, and added modules to the project, been managing pull requests, setting up and leading our daily meetups. Working with Teammates Code, I was able to get the database connection to the JawsDB, which was very exciting. Oops, sorry. I've been doing research to be able to help my team and they go the right direction or solve issues they may come across. I've been working on the Kanban board for QA and clarifying expectations of that role as we're getting functionalities to work now. And I need my team to keep up the good work. Yay! Cool. Excellent. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. Having that Kanban board is really nice, and I think it can help alleviate stress if you guys all use it and everybody knows what's up. Oops, that's not okay, that's okay. All right, groovy. So our next person is Tehran, and then after that, we're gonna have Jamila, Nick, and Venus. All right, so Tehran says the database is operational. Tyler was able to create a function that adds said to, whoop. Tyler was able to create a function that adds to said database that works properly. I don't know why that sentence like did not click in my brain. Like you said, the backend is working on connecting the HTML inputs to the database. The front end has already done a wonderful job with the 2 regex validations, so we just need to put the 2 and 5 together without breaking anything. Yep. At some point, we have to have the table appear on the admin page. Cool. Yep. That all sounds good to me. Do you need help with anybody do you need help from anybody for that? I need myself to get a grip. I don't know how much I can help you with that one. All right. So our next person is Jamila. So you talked a little bit about how you're feeling, Jamila. What else you got? All right. So Jamil says, on backend, I built a database, but I don't know where it's at. Where you at? I stayed up all night watching videos. I was trying to figure out how to get user input into the database and show it on the HTML page, but I don't even know where it's at or what day it is now. Then I woke up and it was already done. I learned a lot. I didn't want to learn last night, like what's express handlebars. I could have had it if it wasn't for that. Yeah, we're not using handlebars. I installed it anyways, but I learned a lot about GitHub errors, node modules, and how they work. I'm learning a lot about MySQL. I knew the backend would be a challenge. I needed more time with tasks than others. I learned that too, so that's a good thing. Yeah, so I do think, especially in starting programming, you end up with like a lot of like false starts, and like you spend time with a bunch of stuff and then be like, oh, this doesn't work, and then it's really easy to get frustrated with that. Like I remember getting really frustrating with that. Like, spending like hours writing code and then being like, oh, I misunderstood what the prompt was. This doesn't actually solve the problem I'm trying to solve. And then, you've done those hours of work and you're just like, well, that was a waste of time. It's not. You learned a lot, and that's an important thing to like really think about is like when you have taken that time that like you're still learning, even if like it's maybe not exactly what your goal was, you're still learning, and then you can use that kind of code later. Because now you know what express handlebars are, and so you can use that for something later. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. Do you need anything from anybody? All right. So our next person is Nick. What are you up to, Nick? Okay. Hello. Can I like ping just one person? Okay. I don't know, Nick, if you're typing a lot of stuff or if you are MIA, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to write down that we have skipped you. And then, Venus, would you like to give me your status update? And then just so you guys know, the next two people are Priscilla and Jimmy. Okay, so Venus says, I worked with JavaScript and HTML, named validation and QA. Communication from some of the team members is disrespectful at times and is blamed on stress, even though everyone has to play a balancing game of life. Also, for team members, I was clear with my schedule in the team room and are not willing to sugarcoat the consistently changing format that are done last minute and are very disrupting to the timeline of this project being. All right, so we got a lot of stressful feelings going on. So you just need people to be more consistent with what is going on. Yeah, so just people to stick to what they said they'd do. Yeah, well, that's a reasonable request. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. It can be really hard, especially with working with a bunch of people's schedules. But like, if it doesn't all match, it can be really hard to do that. I will say, for the most part, at least you guys have like a reasonably consistent schedule. That was my least favorite part of group projects when I was in school. Was like, everybody show up at the same time, please. And I'd be like, well, I gotta work. But yeah, cool. And then with the disrespectful thing, like, you know, everybody be nice to each other. Like, you know, it's not the end of the world. There's no reason for anybody to be like upset. Like, you know, it's not like you guys are gonna like, you know, get fired if it doesn't get done or anything. So no, there's no point in being, nobody should be being mean to anybody else. It's not that big of a deal. Cool. So other than that, do you need anything else from anybody besides people to be professional? Just want to finish without another sleepless night. I feel that. I feel that deeply. You know what? Actually, I take it back. That's the part that I don't miss about college, was not sleeping. Oh man, I feel that. I feel that deeply. Like, my brain instantly, when you said that, was like, no, 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 no. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. All right. So next person is Priscilla. What are you up to? Priscilla, I'm gonna just assume that you're typing. And so, Jimmy, do you have your status update ready to go? Okay, all right. We'll hop back to Priscilla, just that way we're not hanging out. All right, so I was finally able to connect to Heroku using a branch with the help of Tehran. I'm starting to work on Shawnee's code to try to break it. Beautiful, 10 out of 10. I will be working on other teams to see if there's any issues. I will be documenting my findings. UTMIS, perfect, very important. The question is, where do you want me to put this documentation? So for QA documentation, you can just create another like markdown file, and you can just, you know, be like testing.md is totally fine, and just put it on the GitHub repo, just like testing.md, and put that kind of stuff in there. I wanted to help Diane with JavaScript, but I'm lost what I needed to do. I need to get with Nick to see what he has tested. Okay, so responsiveness from Nick. Clarity from Diane. Okay, even though I have a minor part, I've been working with groups, and I know that this is the future. Everyone brings something to the table. We know what the we know what the end goal is and the task, hopefully successfully. Yeah, I believe in you guys. Cool. All right, so clarity from Diane and responsiveness from Nick is what you need. Breaking code, getting there, sounds good. Able to connect with Heroku, wonderful, 10 out of 10, sounds good. Priscilla says, I'm going to know when I receive the submissions, and I'm not working outside the assignment requirements. Butte, 10 out of 10. I hope those clarifications will be in those guidelines. Cool. All right, so you're just waiting for everybody to give you stuff so you can test it all? Cool. All righty. Cool. All right, so that's everybody. Any last questions, thoughts, feelings? You know, I also, like, if you guys want to take a couple minutes just to like be like, this sucks, I hate everything, we can take that time and like get those emotions out, you know, and then like we'll spend some time being like positive. But you know, if you want to be like, this sucks, I hate everything, we can take a couple minutes to be there. Yeah. Any other questions, clarifications? As other people have said what they're working on, do you have like questions or like comments for their stuff? So that way you can be like, oh, hey, this is what I've tested, you know, here's what's up, or this is what I'm working on. Otherwise, you know, Slack each other, go to your guys' meetings, whatevs. So any questions, comments, emotions, things you guys need from me? Coding is infuriating and I'm kicking myself for learning it. Coding is very hard. As far as kicking yourself for learning it, I think eventually, maybe not like, what are the, I guess I'm technically a Gen Z. I'm like right on the line. I don't know which one I count on. I think it's not going to be like a fundamental piece of life for like the Gen Z people, but I think the next generation is going to be just as fundamental of a piece of like learning algebra or something. So, you know, I think that it's a fundamental skill to have, especially as life continues to be more and more online, especially with this like pandemic thing. I think that sped it up so fast that like everyone's going to have to learn coding eventually. All right, Jamila says, I still love it. Even more now, I realize how doable it is, and I can learn a little bit more in time each step. Yeah, yeah, I think that is one of the beautiful things about coding is like, there's always something else to learn. Because like I've literally been doing it for a decade, and I still learn new things almost every time I do a project. So, you know, it's exciting, and it is totally doable. Like, yeah, All right, and then Chuck says there's a lot more being taught than I expected. I thought it was all going to be front end. I didn't even know there were different ends. There we go. That's a good piece of information to have. Yeah. Yep. And try to give you guys a good base for like every like web dev skill, so that way you guys can like pick what path you really want to go down. It's a little bit more front end heavy because those tend to be more accessible, but you know, I want you guys to be able to like launch your own websites if you want to, or like be like, oh, I know how to, you know, set up all these pieces. And Carlos says, I know more than when I started. Good. I'm glad that taking a class has learned more. Excellent. But yeah, cool. All right, any group project feelings that we want to get out? Any questions? But yeah, coding is hard. Actually, let me read you. So I got a text this morning from one of my friends, and what did he say this morning? Good morning. I'm already frustrated. Nothing is working. This query is a nightmare. It's almost 1,000 lines for one single SQL query. So it is frustrating for everyone. So yeah, all right. So it's 10. We got through our stand-up. I hope that you guys all know a little bit better about what people are doing. Yeah. I hope everybody feels like okay right now. It's okay to be stressed about the group project. Group projects are always stressful. It's okay to be stressed. It's not okay to be mean to each other. But you know, you guys, it's okay to be stressed about it. It sounds overall like both the groups are doing okay. It feels like we're on like the downhill part of it. So, you know, remember, write documentation, show me what you guys are doing. It's just like a math class. You got to show your work. And the more of your work that you show me you guys are doing, the, you know, more points I can give you. That's why we show our work. Oh, this is totally unrelated. I meant to say this morning. Tomorrow night, there is a data science meetup at 6 p.m. I was reading my list of things. So there's that. It'll be like a Google Meets. I'll put the link in the Slack group chat so you guys have it. That was the other thing I meant to talk about this morning. So yeah. The last Augusta Dev was really, really interesting. It was super engaging, and like I actually am going to steal part of his stuff for a lecture for next week, you know, being when we come back to class. So, you know, show up and, you know, maybe learn stuff. It'll be about like machine learning and Python and that kind of stuff. So it should be fun. I think that's it. Let's go ahead. Okay, Priscilla says I have a question. What is your question? Okay, so Priscilla asked, were we all supposed to be included in the project from the beginning? Because I've just been included 2 days ago, so I've not been able to do the way portion for adjustments to be made. Yeah, so especially with, so what is expected now will be what I'm able to do. Yeah, so with each of these roles, they do like, they almost, remember when we talked about like the waterfall methodology? And so like, even in the most agile development thing, there does tend to be like, it goes in stages. So like your front end people might work first, and then your back end people might work next, and then like your QA people work last. So like everybody should have been included in everything in the beginning, just because it's a small project and everybody should have been included in the beginning. But getting access to the code a little bit later as a QA might not be terrible, because you just want to test it when they're all finished anyways. And this is a personal QA experience, not a hard and fast thing, is sometimes it can be hard to test people's code if you've watched them write it. So it might not be a terrible thing to get it all later. That is a personal opinion, not like a hard and fast thing, and everybody should have been included the whole time. But it might end up working out and be easier to test. From like my personal QA experience, it's easier for me to get just the finished code instead of watching pieces come in. So everybody should have been included from the beginning for everything. Hold the clarifications, expectations, and I'll do my job. Yeah. Yeah, so sounds like a lot of like making sure everybody knows exactly what's up and getting super clear guidelines about what everybody's doing, which is a super reasonable request. But yeah. Oh, for just for like making my life easier, in your documentation or just somewhere, I don't really care where, you can Slack it to me. Can I get the team leads to give me a list of what everybody's role was? So just like a list of names and just front and back end QA, project manager, just so I have that. Because like I know I've asked you guys and I've written most of it down, but I want to make sure that, because I have a list that I think is what's going on, but then sometimes you guys ask me questions and I'm like, oh, I thought they were doing something different. So if you guys can give me that list, that will make my life easier. But yeah, so clear guidelines, communication from everybody. And let me know what's up. Like if you're struggling, like let me know, because like if you guys don't tell me what's up, I can't fix it. But yeah, so I hope that got a lot of stuff out, and that everybody knows what's up, at least, or at least how to get to knowing what exactly is expected of them. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I think I have the hiccups now. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have, I'll give you guys the Zoom link for the latter part for when we have Lucas after we rejoin, so that way it's not confusing. So let's come back at 10:30. We'll do a little bit of lecture, and then we'll have Lucas's stuff. Remember, have like questions about like what's it like to work at Google. You know, he's also done TEDx stuff. He's been a part of the Clubhouse for a long time, so you know, ask him questions, and like you can ask him like coding questions or ask him like, you know, what's it like to work on like, you know, bigger group projects and like, you know, all that. Why is Stata a failure? That's a big question. That is a big question. I'm going with my personal opinion is that it is fulfilling a market need that we don't actually have. But, you know, that's a personal opinion. Facts. Okay. All right. Stata is like, it's kind of supposed to be like a Netflix for video games, but nobody likes it because like it's really slow. So it's supposed to let you play like a bunch of different video games without having to own the hardware for it. So like you don't have to buy an Xbox or like a Switch or whatever. You can just play the games. How does it feel to be compared with me? All right, keep all these questions. And we'll talk about them. But yeah, other than that, let's come back at 10:30 and we'll do a little baby bit of lecture. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.